Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Mm.
You know, we love to get into the nitty-gritty of online business. And today, we're going to be tackling something that I think is really exciting and probably something a lot of people are curious about, which is cracking the code of online sales, but without breaking the bank.
Especially in this economy.
Yeah, like how can you make it big?
You got to stretch those dollars.
Without having a huge budget.
Yep.
And we've got tons of great sources today. A lot of articles, some expert insights. Some interviews, all geared towards you succeeding no matter where you are in the world.
Exactly. And, you know, one of the things that I found really interesting is these strategies are truly global. So whether you are aiming for, you know, North America, Europe, Australia, these are designed to work.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you know, one of the things that I was really surprised by when I was looking at all these different sources is just how much you can actually accomplish with free tools.
Totally.
You don't have to spend a fortune on, you know, all these fancy platforms and software.
Right. And we are going to get into that later, but there are so many powerful tools that are completely free.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the tools. It's also about understanding which platforms are actually the best fit for you.
Right.
Depending on, you know, your product, your target audience, and the region you are selling in.
Absolutely.
Like, who knew that email marketing is still such a powerhouse?
Oh, I know, right? That's the thing that surprised me too, but the data's there.
It works.
It works.
So, okay, let's dive into social media first, because I think a lot of us have this feeling of just like drowning in a sea of ads.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right? You're scrolling through your feed and it's just like ad.
Especially on Instagram. You know, it's like every other post.
Yeah. It's exhausting and it makes you kind of tune out.
Absolutely. And expensive. Expensive.
Right.
But our sources are actually saying that organic social media growth is still possible.
It is. Wait, what?
I was skeptical too.
Yeah, I'm very curious to hear.
What they're saying is that a lot of businesses have just completely written off organic social media.
Right.
And they've gone all in on paid ads.
Yeah.
But they are missing out on a huge opportunity.
So what are they missing out on? Like, what's the key here?
It's not just about like posting randomly. It's about understanding the nuances of each platform and how they play out in different regions.
That's interesting because they actually highlight some really surprising regional differences.
Yes.
Like, for example, they're saying that if you're selling handmade jewelry in Europe, you should be all over Instagram and TikTok.
Yes.
But if you're in Australia, Facebook is still the way to go.
It's so interesting, right?
Why is that?
Well, it comes down to demographics and platform popularity. So in Europe, particularly with that younger demographic, they are all about the visuals.
Right.
They love that kind of short form, engaging content.
Makes sense.
So Instagram and TikTok are where it's at.
Okay.
But in Australia, Facebook still has a really strong hold.
Okay.
Especially for reaching certain age groups.
Yeah, so it's not like a one-size-fits-all approach.
No.
You really have to know your audience and where they hang out.
Right.
Okay, now something else that caught my eye when I was reading through these sources was this whole concept of micro-influencers.
Yes.
And I've got to be honest, I've always been a little skeptical.
Me too.
Do those really work?
They do. And I was skeptical too, but what's often misunderstood about micro-influencers is that their power lies in their niche audiences. They have these highly engaged followers who trust their recommendations.
I can see that.
So if you find the right micro-influencer who aligns with your brand and whose audience is interested in what you are selling, it can be incredibly effective.
So it's almost like it's more about the quality of the followers than the quantity.
Exactly. It's not about reaching millions of people. It's about reaching the right people.
Right. And I imagine it's also a lot more affordable than going after those big name influencers.
Absolutely. You're not going to be paying, you know, thousands of dollars for a single post.
Makes sense.
You can get a lot more bang for your buck.
Okay, so let's say our social media strategy is humming along.
Okay.
We found our micro-influencers.
Yes.
We're creating great content. But what about the website?
Ah, the website.
Because I think a lot of times websites can feel like a black hole of tech jargon and coding.
It's intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
For sure.
And, you know, not all of us are coding wizards.
No, and you don't have to be.
Okay, that's good to hear because I am definitely not a coding wizard.
Yeah. There are so many affordable website builders out there now.
Oh, really?
Like WordPress and Wix.
Okay.
And they have these easy-to-use templates.
So you don't start from scratch?
No, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
That's good.
And then you can just customize it to fit your brand.
Okay. And what about things like SEO?
Ah, yes, SEO.
Because that always sounds so complicated.
I know, but it doesn't have to be.
Really?
There are plugins that can help you optimize your website.
Like what kind of plugin?
Well, there's one called Yoast SEO.
Okay.
And it's a game changer.
Really?
It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to improve your ranking in search results.
So people can actually find your website.
Exactly, because what's the point of having a beautiful website if nobody can find it?
Exactly. So Yoast SEO, I'm going to have to check that out.
Yes, you should.
Okay. So we've got a great looking website. It's optimized for search engines.
Yep.
But now I'm imagining actually getting people to click that buy button.
Right, the checkout process.
Yeah, because that can be a whole other beast.
It can be. And you know what's interesting? One of the things that our sources really emphasized is the importance of streamlining the checkout process.
Okay, so making it as easy as possible for people to buy from you.
Yes, because think about it from your own perspective.
Yeah.
How many times have you added things to your cart?
Oh, too many.
And then you get to the checkout and it's like, oh, I have to create an account.
Right, or it's like 10 pages long.
Or they want like a million pieces of information.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so frustrating.
So the easier you can make that checkout process, the more likely people are to actually complete the purchase.
That's a great point. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, it's all about reducing friction.
Okay, so we're streamlining the checkout process. Is there anything else we can do?
Well, don't forget about trust signals.
Trust signals.
Yes. So these are things like secure payment badges.
Okay.
Customer reviews.
Right.
Things that show potential buyers that they're making a safe and informed decision.
Especially for like a smaller business.
Especially for a smaller business.
Yeah, you really need to establish that trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now, I also noticed that our sources mention email pop-ups as a way to grow your mailing list.
Yes.
Are those still effective?
You know, I think a lot of people have a love-hate relationship.
I know.
With email pop-ups, right?
Like sometimes they're super annoying.
Yeah, but if they are done strategically, they can be really valuable.
How so?
Well, think of it as a way to offer something valuable in exchange for someone's email address.
Okay.
So it could be a discount code, a free ebook, access to exclusive content.
So it's like a win-win.
Exactly. It's like, hey, give me your email address and I'll give you this awesome thing.
Makes sense.
And then you can start building that relationship through email marketing.
Right, which we are going to talk about later.
Yes, we'll dive deeper into that. But yeah, email pop-ups definitely still have their place.
So we've got social media bringing people to our website. Our website is optimized for conversions.
Yep.
We're capturing email addresses along the way. But how do we keep those potential customers engaged?
That is the million-dollar question, right? And that's where content marketing comes in.
Okay.
And it's all about creating and sharing valuable content that attracts your target audience, positions you as an expert, and ultimately drives sales.
And the best part?
The best part is it doesn't have to be expensive.
Okay, so when you say content, I immediately think blog posts.
Yes.
But is that really the only way to go?
No, blog posts are a great starting point.
Okay.
But content can take many forms.
Like what?
It could be videos, infographics, social media updates, even email newsletters.
So it's really about finding the format that works best for you.
Exactly. And for your audience.
Right. And for your topic.
Absolutely.
But how do you even come up with ideas?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know what your audience actually wants to see?
Well, remember that Google Keyword Planner tool we talked about earlier?
Yeah, for SEO?
For SEO, yes. But it's also a goldmine for content ideas.
Really?
You can type in keywords related to your business and see what people are actually searching for online.
So you can see what's trending.
Exactly. You can see what people are interested in.
So instead of just guessing, you're actually basing your content on data.
Exactly. Data-driven content.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
And you know what else is interesting?
Right.
The format that you choose for your content can also vary depending on the region you're targeting.
Really?
So, for example, our sources highlight that YouTube is still king for longer form content, like product demos and tutorials in North America and Australia.
Makes sense.
But in Europe, you might find more success with shorter, engaging videos on platforms like TikTok.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah, it's all about understanding those regional nuances.
So I might be using the wrong format then.
It's possible. Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning so much already.
Good.
But with all these different types of content to create, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
It can be.
Is there any way to make the process more efficient?
Well, one of the best strategies I've found is repurposing content.
Okay.
So that blog post you wrote, you could turn that into a script for a YouTube video.
Okay.
You could chop it up into a series of Instagram posts.
So you're basically getting multiple uses out of a single piece of content.
Exactly. You're working smarter, not harder.
I love that.
And it saves you a ton of time and energy.
Okay, so we've created some amazing content.
Yes.
Our blog posts are getting shared. Our videos are racking up views. Our infographics are going viral.
Love it.
How do we actually translate all that engagement into sales?
Ah, yes, that's the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
And that's where calls to action come into play. So at the end of your content, you want to guide your audience toward a specific action.
Okay.
Do you want them to visit your website, sign up for your email list, follow you on social media?
Make it clear.
Make it crystal clear.
What you want them to do.
Yes, because otherwise they might just consume your content and then move on.
Okay, so you're not just leaving it up to chance.
Right.
You're actually strategically guiding them towards the next step.
Exactly.
Okay, now before we move on, I am curious to hear a little bit more about those regional differences in action.
Yes.
So we've talked about how they affect social media platforms and even video format. Do they also apply to content creation itself?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Just like with your marketing channels, it's important to tailor your content to the specific preferences and cultural nuances of your target audience.
So, for example,
if you're targeting North American consumers, you might want to create content that's fast-paced, attention-grabbing, and maybe even infused with a bit of humor.
Yeah.
But in Europe, a more sophisticated and nuanced approach might be more effective, focusing on storytelling, authenticity, and a deep understanding of your audience's needs and values.
Interesting. So it's really about understanding the cultural context.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about Australia?
Well, in Australia, you might want to highlight your brand's commitment to sustainability, outdoor living, and a healthy lifestyle.
Makes sense.
Those are all values that resonate strongly with Australian consumers.
I see how these regional insights can really shape the way we create and share content.
It's not just about translating your words. It's about understanding the underlying values and beliefs.
Okay, so we've covered social media websites, content creation. Are there any other essential elements we need to consider for online sales on a budget?
We have to talk about email marketing.
Okay.
And I know some people might think
I was going to say.
It's a little old school.
Isn't that a bit outdated?
Right. But trust me, email marketing is far from dead.
Really?
In fact, it consistently delivers one of the highest returns on investment of any marketing channel.
I'm surprised.
I know it's not flashy.
Right.
It's not trendy, but it works.
Okay, so why does it work so well?
Well, for one thing, it allows you to build direct relationships with your audience.
Right.
You're not relying on algorithms or third-party platforms.
Right. You have their email address.
You
can reach them directly.
And you can control the message.
Yeah.
And you can segment your audience.
Right. So you can send targeted messages to different groups of people.
So you're not just blasting out the same email to everyone.
Right.
You can personalize it.
Okay. Now, I think a lot of people shy away from email marketing because they assume it requires some fancy, expensive platform.
Right. Does that?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
Platforms like MailChimp and MailerLite offer free plans for smaller lists.
Okay, that's great. And they're super user-friendly.
So you don't need to be a tech expert.
No, you don't.
To use them.
They're very intuitive.
Okay. But before you start sending emails,
yes,
you need to build that list.
You need to build that list.
Right. And how do you do that?
Well, that's where those lead magnets we mentioned earlier come in.
Right.
Remember those?
The free ebooks, the discount codes, all that good stuff.
So you can promote those lead magnets on your social media, on your website, in your email pop-ups.
Right.
And entice people to join your email list.
So it's like a win-win.
It's a win-win.
They get something awesome for free.
Yeah.
And you get their email address.
And you get to build that relationship.
Okay. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful ecosystem of online sales.
But before we move on,
yes,
I am curious to hear a little bit more about how those regional differences play out in email marketing.
Yeah. So, for example, in North America, personalized product recommendations are really effective.
So like if someone's been browsing a particular category on your website, you could send them an email highlighting similar products or special offers.
It feels more personalized.
Yes.
Less like a generic mass email.
Right. And what about Europe?
In Europe, seasonal offers and localization are key.
So tailoring your messaging to reflect local holidays or cultural events.
Exactly. And offering multilingual support is really important.
Right. Because not everyone speaks English.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that your emails are accessible to a wider audience.
Makes sense. And what about Australia?
In Australia, highlighting eco-friendly or outdoor-related products can be very effective because those are strong market trends there.
So it's all about aligning with the values of your target audience.
Absolutely.
It's incredible how those regional differences play out.
It's fascinating.
In every aspect.
It is.
Of online sales.
Yeah.
Even in something as seemingly straightforward as email marketing.
It just shows you that you really have to do your research.
Right.
And understand the nuances of each region.
Okay, so we've talked about social media, website optimization, content creation, email marketing.
We've covered a lot.
In
this first part.
Is there anything else?
There is one more strategy that I want to touch on.
Okay.
And it's something that's often overlooked.
Okay.
But it's incredibly powerful.
I'm intrigued.
It's called affiliate marketing.
Affiliate marketing. Okay, I've heard that term.
Yeah.
But I've always been a little fuzzy on the details.
Okay, well, essentially it's like having a team of salespeople working for you. Mm-hmm. But you only pay them when they make a sale.
Okay, so I'm not paying them up front.
No, you're not paying them up front.
Interesting.
So you partner with bloggers, YouTubers, social media influencers, anyone with an audience that aligns with your target market.
Right.
And they promote your products on their platforms.
So I'm basically leveraging other people's networks to reach a wider audience.
And you tap into the trust and credibility that they've already built.
Because people trust them.
They trust them. They already have that relationship.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
And you offer them a commission on every sale they generate.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
It is a win-win.
Okay, but how do I find these affiliates?
Well, there are a number of affiliate platforms like ShareASale and CJ Affiliate that connect businesses with potential affiliates.
Okay.
You can also reach out directly to people whose work you admire.
Makes sense.
And see if they'd be interested in partnering with you.
Okay. And is it expensive to use these platforms?
No, they're very affordable.
Okay, that's good.
And some of them even have free plans.
Okay, this is all starting to come together.
It is.
You see now all these...
Don't just listen to this and then do nothing.
No, you have to actually apply it.
You have to apply it.
Okay, so choose one thing and get started today.
Exactly.
That's great advice.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll be back with part 2 of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
Where we'll delve even deeper into the art of creating compelling content.
Compelling content.
That converts. It's soon.
See you soon. Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we just scratched the surface of content marketing before, but it's such a powerful tool for online sales, especially on a budget.
It is.
That it deserves a deeper look.
Absolutely. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, good.
We talked about creating blog posts and videos. Mm-hmm. But it feels like there's a whole universe of content out there.
There is.
How do we even know where to start?
It can feel overwhelming. I know, but what's fascinating about content marketing is that it's all about finding your unique voice and connecting with your audience authentically.
Okay.
So think less about like churning out content and more about having conversations, sharing your expertise, and building relationships.
Okay. That's a good shift in perspective.
Yeah.
But how do we go from like a blank page to content that people actually want to read, watch, or listen to?
Well, it all starts with understanding your audience right. What are their pain points? What are their questions? What kind of information would be genuinely helpful to them?
Right. And we talked about using tools like Google Keyword Planner to uncover those insights.
Yep.
So instead of creating content based on what we think is interesting, we're creating content based on what our audience is actually searching for.
Data-driven content.
Data-driven content. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And once we have a grasp of those needs and interests, then we can start brainstorming content ideas that provide real value.
Yeah.
It could be anything, like you were saying, from blog posts to videos to infographics, even just social media updates.
Absolutely.
But with all these different formats to choose from, blog posts, videos, infographics, social media updates, how do we know which one is the right fit for a particular piece of content?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's about experimenting a little bit.
Okay.
You know, it's about finding the format that best suits your content and your audience, as well as your own strengths and preferences.
Okay.
So if you're a natural storyteller, video might be your medium.
Okay.
If you love crafting compelling narratives, blog posts might be your jam.
Okay.
And if you're a visual thinker who prefers concise information, infographics could be your go-to.
Right. And we don't have to be experts in every format.
Exactly.
But it's good to experiment and see what works best.
Try different things, see what resonates.
Okay. And I remember you mentioned that even the choice of video platform can vary depending on the region you're targeting.
Absolutely. So it's so interesting, right, how these regional nuances even extend to content format. So YouTube is still king for longer form videos in North America and Australia.
Right.
But in Europe, you might find more success with those short, engaging videos on platforms like TikTok.
So it's really important to stay up to date.
It is.
On those trends.
Yeah.
Because what worked a year ago might not work today.
Exactly. The online landscape is constantly changing.
It is. Okay, so we've got all these amazing content ideas brewing.
Yes.
We're experimenting with different formats. We're tailoring our approach to different regions.
Yeah.
But with all this content creation happening, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
It can.
Any tips for managing the chaos and staying sane?
Yes, definitely.
Good.
One of the most effective strategies I've found is repurposing content.
Okay, we talked about that a little bit before.
We did, but it's worth repeating because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So that blog post you wrote,
you
could turn that into a script for a YouTube video. You could chop it up into a series of engaging Instagram posts.
Right.
You could even create an infographic from it.
So many options.
So many options.
Okay, so we're getting multiple uses out of a single piece of content.
Work smarter, not harder.
I love it. Okay. But let's say we've created some amazing content.
Okay.
People are engaging with it. You're sharing it. They're loving it.
Yeah.
How do we actually use this content to drive sales?
That is the million-dollar question. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with. They create great content, but they don't know how to connect it to their sales goals.
Right.
So here's the key.
Okay.
You need to include calls to action.
Calls to action. Okay.
Yes. So at the end of your content, you want to guide your audience towards a specific action.
So tell them what to do.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Do you want them to visit your website? Sign up for your email list?
Right.
Follow you on social media.
Okay.
Make it crystal clear what you want them to do.
Don't leave it up to chance.
Exactly.
We're strategically guiding them toward that next step.
Towards the sale, ultimately.
Right. Okay, now, before we move on, I am curious to hear a little bit more about those regional differences in action.
Okay.
So we talk about how they affect social media platforms and even video format.
Right.
Do they also apply to content creation itself?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Just like with your marketing channels, it's important to tailor your content to the specific preferences and cultural nuances of your target audience.
So for example,
if you are targeting a North American audience, you might find that they respond well to content that's fast-paced, attention-grabbing.
Okay.
Maybe even sprinkled with a bit of humor.
Okay.
But in Europe, a more sophisticated, nuanced approach might be more effective.
Okay.
Focusing on storytelling authenticity.
Right.
And a deep understanding of your audience's needs and values.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all about understanding those cultural nuances.
So it's not just about translating our content.
Right.
It's about understanding the cultural context.
Yeah, the humor.
The values.
It's about connecting on a deeper level.
Right. Okay. And what about Australia?
Well, in Australia, you might want to highlight your brand's commitment to sustainability, outdoor living, and a healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
Those are all values that resonate strongly with Australian consumers.
Makes sense. And it really highlights how important it is to do your research.
Yes.
And understand the cultural context of each region.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've talked about social media, website optimization, content creation.
Yep.
Is there anything else we absolutely need to know?
Well, we have to talk about email marketing.
Okay, let's talk about email marketing.
Yeah, because we briefly touched on it before.
We did.
But I think it deserves a deeper dive.
I agree, because I think a lot of people have this image of email marketing as being like outdated or spammy.
I know, right? It gets a bad rap.
It does.
But email marketing has evolved significantly over the years. And it's become a really sophisticated and personalized way to connect with your audience.
So what are some of the key things we need to know about email marketing?
Okay, so first and foremost, it's important to understand that email marketing is not about blasting out generic promotional emails to everyone on your list.
Okay.
It's about building relationships, providing value, and segmenting your audience to deliver the right message to the right people.
To the right people at the right time.
At the right time, exactly.
Okay, so how do we go about building those relationships and providing value through email?
Well, think back to those lead magnets we discussed earlier.
Right, the free ebooks, the discount codes, all that good stuff.
So offering something valuable like that in exchange for someone's email address is a great way to start that relationship on the right foot.
So it's like a little welcome gift that sets the tone for what they can expect from us.
And then once they're on your list, it's important to nurture those relationships.
Okay, how do we do that?
By sending regular emails that provide value.
Okay, so what kind of content should we be sending?
It could be anything.
Okay.
From helpful tips and advice related to your industry to behind-the-scenes glimpses of your business to exclusive promotions and discounts.
Okay.
The key is to make it relevant and interesting for your audience.
So we're basically treating our email lists like a VIP club.
Exactly.
Giving them access to content and offers they wouldn't get anywhere else.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
Don't forget about those regional differences.
Right, of course.
We keep coming back to them.
They're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Okay, so can you give us some specific examples of how those regional differences might play out in email marketing?
Absolutely. So let's start with North America. Personalized product recommendations based on browsing history are very effective in this region.
So like if someone's been browsing a particular category on your website, you can send them an email highlighting similar products or special offers.
Yes, it makes it feel much more personalized.
It does.
Less like a generic mass email.
Right. Okay, and what about Europe?
In Europe, seasonal offers and localization are key.
Okay.
So you might tailor your messaging to reflect local holidays or cultural events.
Okay.
And offering multilingual support.
Right, because not everyone speaks English in Europe.
Exactly.
So we want to make sure that our emails are accessible to a wider audience.
Okay, everyone on your list.
Right. Okay, and what about Australia?
In Australia, highlighting eco-friendly or outdoor-related products can be very effective because those are strong market trends there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about aligning with the values of your target audience.
Absolutely.
It's incredible how those regional differences play out in every aspect of online sales.
Yeah.
Even in something as seemingly straightforward as email marketing.
It's like you said earlier, it's a reminder that we're not just marketing to demographics or target audiences. We're connecting with real people.
With real people,
who have diverse values, preferences, and experiences.
Okay. I'm feeling so much more confident about email marketing now.
Good.
But I'm also realizing that we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
In this second part of our deep dive.
We have.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
There's one more crucial element we need to discuss.
Okay. I'm all ears.
It's automation.
Automation. Okay.
Yes.
So like automated email sequences.
Exactly.
Things like that.
So email marketing platforms like MailChimp and MailerLite, they offer these powerful automation features that can save you so much time and effort.
Because I was going to say, that sounds like it could be a lot of work.
It can be if you're doing everything manually.
Right.
But with automation, you can set up these sequences that guide your subscribers through a specific journey.
So like welcoming new subscribers.
Yes.
Nurturing leads.
Recovering abandoned carts.
Okay.
All of that.
So it's basically like having a virtual assistant working for you 24/7.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It takes a lot of the guesswork. Right.
And manual labor out of email marketing.
That frees up our time to focus on other things.
Exactly. You can focus on creating high quality content and building those relationships.
Okay. This is all incredibly insightful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm starting to see how all these different pieces, social media content creation, email marketing, they all fit together to create a truly effective online sales strategy.
It's a holistic approach.
It is.
And it's all about understanding that even though we're talking about digital marketing, it's all about connecting with real people.
Real people.
On a human level.
Right.
So be authentic.
Yeah.
Be helpful. Be consistent.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Okay, hit us with it.
What's one action you can take today
to improve your email marketing strategy?
Yeah. What's one little tweak you can make that will make a big difference?
That's a great question.
And we'll be back in just a bit
with the final part
to wrap everything up
of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've covered so much ground already.
We have.
From social media to content creation to email marketing.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
It has, but I'm feeling really energized. I don't know about you.
Oh, absolutely.
Like ready to take all this knowledge and put it into action.
I think that's the key takeaway here, right? It's not just about learning this stuff.
Right.
It's about actually doing something with it.
Exactly. And one of the things that has really stuck with me is the importance of those regional differences. Yeah. We've talked about it a lot.
We have.
But it's not just about, translating your website or, tweaking your marketing copy.
Right.
It's about really getting those subtle nuances.
Yeah, those cultural differences. Yeah. Those are huge.
They're huge. And it might resonate with a consumer in North America.
Right.
It could totally fall flat in Europe or Australia.
Absolutely. And I think what's really fascinating is that even though we're operating in the digital world, right?
Right. It's global.
It's global.
Yeah.
We're still connecting with real people.
Yeah.
Who have their own unique perspectives and experiences.
Absolutely. And we've seen how those regional differences play out in every aspect of online sales.
Yeah. From the social media platforms we choose.
Yeah.
To the content we create. To, even how we write our emails.
Right. It's crazy.
It is. It's this fascinating intersection of culture and technology.
It is, but okay with all these moving parts.
Yeah.
Websites, social media, email marketing, and potentially even multiple regions to manage. It can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can.
So how do we keep it all straight?
That's where organization comes in, right?
Okay.
And luckily, there are a lot of tools out there.
Right. We've talked about this.
We have those free and low-cost tools that can really help you streamline your efforts.
So, what kind of tools are we talking about specifically for managing multiple regions?
Well, for example, Hootsuite and Buffer. Those allow you to schedule social media posts across different time zones.
So you're reaching people at the right time.
Exactly.
No matter where they are.
Exactly.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah, and on the email marketing side, we talked about MailChimp and MailerLite.
Right.
They allow you to segment your audience and send targeted messages to specific regions.
So you can really personalize that communication.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about just general task management?
Oh, yeah. Don't underestimate the power of a good to-do list or a project management tool like Trello or Asana. Those can really help you stay organized.
And on track.
And on track, exactly.
Okay, so with a little organization and the right tools, we can kind of like conquer the chaos.
Absolutely.
Some online sales.
It's manageable.
It is manageable. Okay.
Yeah.
But even with all these strategies and all these tools in place, I think there's still this kind of lingering question of like, what's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce.
You know, like what separates the people who truly thrive in online sales from those who just like struggle to gain traction?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, I don't think there's one magic answer.
Right.
But one thing I've noticed is that the most successful online sellers, they tend to share certain qualities.
Okay. Like what?
Well, they're adaptable.
Okay.
They're constantly learning and evolving as the online landscape changes, because it changes all the time.
It changes quickly.
Right. And they're persistent.
Okay.
They don't give up easily.
Yeah, you've got to have grit.
You've got to have grit. And I think most importantly, they have a genuine passion for what they're selling.
Okay.
You can tell when someone really believes in their product or service.
Right. It's not just about making a quick buck.
Exactly. It's about building something you're proud of.
Yeah, and sharing that with the world.
Exactly.
I love that. And that kind of brings us back to, you know, what we were saying earlier about connecting with people on a human level.
Yeah, it's not just about transactions. It's about relationships.
It's about building trust.
Exactly.
And I think that's what makes online sales so rewarding.
I agree.
You have this opportunity to like connect with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And build a business that you actually care about.
And that you're excited about.
Yes.
And that brings you joy.
This has been such an inspiring deep dive.
It has.
I'm feeling like I can do anything.
Good. You can.
I can.
You absolutely can.
Okay. So as we wrap things up.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with?
Just remember it's a journey.
Okay.
It's not a destination.
Right.
So embrace the process of learning, experimenting, adapting, celebrate your successes, learn from your challenges, and never stop exploring new possibilities.
I love that. Okay. So one final question for our listeners.
Okay.
What's one action you can take today to move closer to your online sales goals?
What's that one little step
you
can take right now to get started?
And that wraps up another deep dive.
It does.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of online sales on a budget with us.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, happy selling.